Hello, just before the video starts, sorry I was away. It's been a while for me. But second of all, shout out to Kojira Design. I decided to ask him if I could use some of his work in this video. So shout out to him. Go check out his shop in the description. Anyways, on to the video. Oh, so if you can tell, yes, I did upload a bunch of reviews. Well, not a bunch, but I am getting to it. As you can tell, as I'm recording this, the Doc Ock and Shang-Chi reviews uploaded. Currently gonna try to do the music processes for Clayface and Batfleck alongside a re-review of Chucky and edit that. Unfortunately, I think the Shang-Chi video did get copyright claimed. It did get partially blocked. Damn you, YouTube. But anyways, enough of that. Here is my review, my double review actually, of the SH Monster Arts Godzilla vs. Kong. King Kong. Or Godzilla Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. I have two versions of that figure. Of the figure right here. I have the regular retail version. I say retail because you can actually find this at Target. And the Comic-Con exclusive version I got from San Diego Comic-Con. Yes, I did want to buy it, okay? Don't blame me, okay? So, for the original box, if you had Godzilla, you can actually make these connect in a way, so yeah, and all the figures, accessories went into an absolute kerfuffle. But yes, as you can see, it has a nice, well, the always orange and blue and purple color on the side of the box. You see Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong on the other side, nothing more. On the top, you get the translucent back. Nothing on the bottom other than the UPCs and whatnot. On the back, you get what the figure would look like and some product shots. Let me redo this real quick, because, in terms of just fixing this, I'll be right back. Ow, I just had to fix it. The heaves will be on the ground. But anyways, this figure came in a brown blister box. That's where the UPC would have been. SH Monster Arts Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. Nothing on the top. There is on the side figure there. Nothing on there. There. That's where you would open it. Nothing on the bottom. Yeah, it is a pretty plain looking box. And that's where this really nice, I'm just gonna throw this to the side. This is where you get this really nice version of the Kong box. And as you can see, it's bigger and heavier. So it says Godzilla vs. Kong, Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong, exclusive version. You actually get a new art style. I think this is like a very edited version of one of the 3D shots, or promotional shots. There's the side, the other side of the box. Nothing on the top other than the cool art. There you get the UPC, and then you get the figure itself, more promotional art. And yes, the box has doubled from that of the original. Now, if you notice, yes, this figure, the Kong exclusive, did get a re-release, and the Kong figure, the original Kong figure itself, has gotten I think a reissue of sorts. So, are any of these two worth it? ask a question, I'll answer, hopefully, and I will show you to see if these are worth adding to your collection. That sounded like Steven's Toy Reviews. Anyways, I'll go over everything. So, on to the review. So let's start off with this guy first, considering he was released first. This is the original Kong figure. The paint and the sculpt on this figure is actually really good. I think I heard the SHM band. I actually got the 3D models for the figure, so that's why it looks like this. I'll talk about the head. The head sculpt is really nicely well done. It's nicely calm, and the eyes, if you notice, with this bright light, the eyes are apparently, I don't know if you can see it on camera. I'll put a picture up on screen, but the eyes are actually apparently transparent. So, and that hurt my eyes too. But yeah, the head sculpt on this figure is really nice, and the shading too. However, it feels like it would have been better if it had a little more of that. But you could see the nice I think that's dry brushing on the chin, which is nicely well done. He has a nice brighter brown than that of the original and that of the SDCC version. As you can see, this figure has the chest scars, and yeah, it looks really nice. But as you can notice, I did glue this. You know why? Because I broke this thing. Yes, I'm an idiot. So yeah, that's one thing to note. I accidentally broke this figure. But the sculpted texture is actually really nicely carried out through the figure. The nice black palms, which look really nice. And then the feet, again, nice. They could hold. Although, hold the figure's balance is kind of an understatement, because you can't hold the figure. The figure can't hold itself, per se. And then, yeah, the sculpt is really nicely well done. And it looks really good. I don't know if it looks exactly 1-to-1, but I'd say it looks nice. It's nicely brown, although maybe a little more consistent on the paint, especially on the chest scar, then it could be pretty cool. And then, moving on to the alternate version. This is the SDCC version. Same figure. So is the brown, but as you could see, he has a darker brown than that of the original. And he has actually noticeably a lot more scars. So, as you could see here, if you can notice it, there's at least a tad bit of red. I don't know whether that was a paint error or that's intentional. So, 2 monkeys. And then, of course, besides just the colors being brown, there's also more tear, there's also more blood, like on here, and there's also scars, new sculpted in scars, which is basically the ones he got from Godzilla towards the end of the film, and it looks really nice. It really, really does. But there's not really much of a difference, although I do prefer this figure in terms of paint. I think this figure is also good too, as just a standard Kong. This figure, you don't really need to I don't feel like you really need it unless you're like a completionist. And in that way, may I suggest try to find it for a good price if you can. Because this figure, actually, as I said in the beginning, this figure is showing up everywhere. There's a second release on it apparently. So that did not make sense. But let's go over the accessories, which is quite a lot. So let's start off with him, of course. He has a roaring head sculpt, and this head sculpt is nicely well done, nicely painted, nicely sculpted. I think this is where you could see the transparent eyes, but man, that is awesome. I prefer this head sculpt quite a lot over this one, in my opinion. And then, moving on to the hands. This is one thing I didn't like about the figure. I didn't understand these hands. These were too calm if you wanted to grab a kaiju or something like that. So, but if you want a calm, relaxed, if you want a Kong with relaxed hands, then sure. But to me, they just feel kind of pointless. Then he has gripping hands, which for a second I almost thought these were the ones from the exclusive version, until you notice, the browns are completely different to some aspect. But yes, these can grip the axe right here, which, well, yeah, I wish there was a little bit more green, like in the film. I'll show it here. Or even more, a little bit more blue. I'll show it here. I think, or maybe a little bit more, more of a new glowing effect. Otherwise, I think this battle axe accessory is really cool, indeed. And if you want to change out heads and hands, you simply pop his head off, pop this new head in, switch out the hands, and switch on the gripping hands. And then there. Which, yeah, that looks really nice. And on top of all other accessories, he actually comes with hands to make it look like he's crawling on all fours. Ah! Yeah, that was a bit of a struggle. That was a weird sound I made too, but that is really nicely well done. I can't show it here on camera because I don't want to go through the effort of changing the hands, but I will talk about quality control in this figure for a second. Besides just the broken leg, which I think goes out for every figure because the figure is tight out of the box, this arm right here, it pops out. If I move the joint too far enough, it pops out. And it's very unfortunate for that case because, if you want to get good poses, you can't really get that if this figure's joints keep on popping out, But that is, and of course, the broken leg kind of hinders his posability quite a bit, which is why I got that. Which is why another reason why I got that figure in the first place, and also for the nice and new accessories. So yeah, accessories on this figure is cool, but personally, this is where the San Diego Comic-Con version is better. And if you're wondering if you can switch the heads, yes, you can. Just be warned. If you want to switch it with this new head right here, which is a gritting teeth head, which is something I wanted for this Kong, you can. However, I think the browns will be different color. But I don't know if it's too noticeable on camera. But it is nicely, it could be a little annoying, a little too noticeable, but it doesn't look that bad. I'll just switch back the hands. And yes, since they are the same mold, you can switch out hands too, so, but I don't want to go through that effort. So yeah, he comes with the same fist hands and the same gripping hands. However, he comes with a new sets of opening hands. And these new sets, in my opinion, are so much better than the original. Although tight to put on, they are nice. And they do feel like he is grabbing onto a kaiju. He also has another gripping hand, also nicely well done. He also has a new open hand for something else. He also has another open hand, which could go well. And he also has this big, I don't know what this is, another gripping hand when you already have this. And the reason why you have this is because once I switch out the hands, please don't break on me. Once you put that there, I forgot to mention, well, actually, you know what? Once you put that there, you get this very nicely sculpted Mecha Godzilla head, and you can basically kind of plug it in there, or you can use this hand, doesn't really matter. I don't know how it's supposed to be held, but yeah, that is really nice, and it is nicely sculpted too. This is basically based off the actual SH Monster. It's Mecha Godzilla head. However, not only there's an added, spine here, which is nicely sculpted, but needs a lot of weathering. Foreshadowing. But you could see he has a new sculpted in plasma mouth. That sounded so wrong, but he does have that. That's why the jaw is like molded in. And yes, you can switch out the heads with the actual Mechagodzilla. I won't do it on mine because I don't want to. That figure is I have a lot to say about that figure. But yeah, you can. All you really need is sticky tack. The articulation series can help you with that. So, and then, forgot to mention, he has the little heaves, which are on bendy wires, and as you could see, they come off separately as their own thing, and then they just plug in here, and it's a bendy wire, which you can pose them around Kong, put it as a diorama piece, doesn't really matter, and it's really nicely well done. So, there we go. And then, although they do fall down if you don't adjust it right. And then you have this nice axe, which, yes, the pieces fall apart, but this is what I mean. Although, maybe a little too much, I would say. Yes, I kind of sound like a hypocrite, but it does have this nice glow to it. I think what makes this, really nice is just, again, it has this nice glow to it, and it's covered by, as you could see, 2 pieces which work as this charged up look. So if you want to have Kong, displayed with your other kaiju, you can, and I will be right back. Hold on, let me see if I can actually plug this in before I rage quit. All right, I'll just be right back. It's not like this. It's a nice charged up effect. And since, again, it's the same mold, you can do the same thing. I don't want to do it now. It's too much for me. But, yeah, I think accessory-wise, this figure is better considering he has a lot more going for him. He has a lot new alternate hands. He has a new Mechagodzilla head, a new painted dorsal plate axe. That's all nice and dandy. And he has like the heave stuff, which, while a little unnecessary, I will admit is really cool. And there goes Mick. But in terms of, sculpt, it really doesn't matter in terms of sculpt. They're the same thing. But again, it really is up to you on what paint you like. If you like a dirty, gruff, like bow damaged Kong, then this will do for you. If you want a regular version of the Kong, this will do for you. Again, it doesn't really matter on what version you would pick. Point is, they're really nicely painted, and it just depends on which one you like. Personally, if I was, since I personally like this a little bit more, the reason why I prefer this figure over this is just because it's not broken. But this figure could also do well. So, yeah. But now let's go on to articulation, which I will admit, I only will do it on this figure because it's the same figure. I only will mention this figure for the leg. So on to the articulation. Again, this figure, it's as I mentioned before, in a way, in the quality control section, it's pro and it's con. Pro because it has a lot of articulation, but con because stuff falls out. Not just this arm. Everything at this point just pops out. Thankfully, this figure doesn't have that issue. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I don't want to go through that. So, head is on a ball joint. And it also has a ball joint on the neck. So, he can look up this far. He can look down this far. He can tilt. He can look. Spin. Yeah, he can spin his head. He has ball joints on the arms. Oh my gosh. I don't want to go through that figure, but I will. So I'll do it on this arm instead. Ball jointed arms. He has a ball jointed bicep swivel. Double double ball jointed elbow with a swivel if you can. That doesn't sound too good, but yeah, you can finagle it in a way. And he has ball jointed wrist. So yeah, I'll be right back. I almost lost this piece. It was under a bar. Anyways, he has a lot of articulation at the waist. A lot of articulation here, and a lot of articulation. He can crouch down. He can crouch back up. Nicely well done. But if you're not a big fan of gaps, yeah, you're gonna get a huge one. This is another one where it gets a little annoying. Like, look at that. Oh, God. But it's not too bad. You could just put it in. Looks nice. Not as perfect, but it's decent. Now let's move on to the legs. I'll use this figure because it's actually, at least slightly loose and at least a slight amount of loose. He has a ball joint at the leg, which can kick up and back. And then he can spread about this much. I swear, I hope the leg on this one can hold and not break on me. That's why it confuses me a little bit. So that's why he has a little bit of a thigh swivel. He has a double jointed knee. And he has the weirdest he has the most posable ankle articulation and toe articulation. So, yeah, posability on both these figures is the same. And that's a good thing considering, they're really posable. You can get a lot of great poses with these figures. But then again, as I mentioned before, these figures suck at least this figure sucks in terms of just quality, unfortunately. So he's going to T-pose. But, yeah, they're nicely articulated. You can get a lot of good poses. And a couple of the accessories, it makes it a pretty fun experience. It's just, again, be warned of tight joints because you might end up with this. So, now let's get on to the size comparison of these two. For size comparison, these guys stand almost at 6 inches tall. And for comparison, here they are compared to an old Playmates Kong. This is the Kong with Battle Axe and the Hong Kong Lazy Battle Kong, which, once I get a review on this figure and all the Playmates Godzilla stuff, I will rant about him the most. Possibly. But yeah, these figures, man, I don't know which one is better. I don't know if, I think Playmates might have released these, but I haven't checked if they have re-released any of the Playmates Godzilla stuff. But if you want a comparison with Godzilla, here he is compared to the 2019 Godzilla. Here they are compared to 2019 Godzilla. Again, that is not a great size difference if we put this figure here. Nicely well scaled. And for another comparison, here he is with the 2021 Godzilla. So, yeah, like that. It works pretty well. This figure is standing up straight. That's why he looks a little bit taller. But anyways, now let's move on to my final thoughts. So, buy now, skip, or if you can, wait for a deal. I think there might be a deal on him. But overall, these figures are actually really good. Although there are a lot of complaints I can find with this figure, such as the quality control and maybe the lack of other proper hands, or how this figure you may need the battle damage version, I'd say these are really good. Now, as to which one I prefer, honestly, get this one personally. Yeah, I could mention. And in a way, yes, you can also get custom paint, well, not really custom painted heads, but you can get some 3D printed heads over at Kujira Studio, or Kujira Design. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. But yes, he has done some amazing work with Kong, and you can get an alternate head. You can get some alternate heads I don't know how much the shipping is, but you can definitely get those, and you can custom paint it and put it on your Kong. I've seen it before, and yeah, I think it's a good release. But I think both of them at the same time are really good. They're really nicely well made figures, and they work really well. This figure, although I do prefer this figure in my opinion, I suggest you get this, as I mentioned before. But I think the accessories and the articulation really make this figure so much better. As to how I would rate these figures, I'd say I rate the original SH Monster Arts Kong 2021 a solid maybe 7.5, just because of the quality control. It could be bumped to a 9 if it wasn't for the fact that the figure was broken. If I didn't do anything else. And the San Diego Comic-Con version, I give it a solid 8.5. The added accessories and the new head sculpt really make this figure so much better. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Yes, this was a little bit more of the rushed review, so, yeah, unfortunately. But, finally, that's another batch of reviews. So, I will see you guys next time. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and again, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.